I think we all collectively decided that let's not compete with each other.
Yeah.
Really?
that's it.
ये कब हो गया?
No, we had a meeting before
कब
you
हुआ
joined.
था?
We had a meeting.
You joined later. You met them in Goa, so I think that happened
Yeah,
before the Goa trip was
Damn.
had materialized.
No, but honestly, I mean, thankfully there was no insecurity,
Yeah.
you know, amongst us. You know, there was no, I mean, sense of competition, any such thing.
Our friend Pratik Gandhi, after shooting for us for 3 days, his shoulder came out of your socket.
Oh, I forgot
Tore
that
a
happened.
ligament, and
That's
it was extremely painful for him and
Not
extremely
during
painful
shoot.
for me because I didn't know what to do now.
Hey guys, welcome to India Today. My name is Zenia and today we have with us the entire cast and Ritesh of course, who's coming up with a new film, Madgaon Express. And मतलब 3 दोस्त है, ठीक है, 3 लौंडे हैं जैसे हम बोलते हैं दिल्ली में, और वो जा रहे हैं गोवा. They have been contemplating about it since their childhood and finally when they go, लग गई. So, first of all, Kunal, I mean, how did you come up with the script? When did you conceptualize it? And what madness happened that made you write this?
Actually, I had this idea for some time. Like I've had, you know, as an actor, you have a creative mind. You keep thinking of stories that you want to tell. And I always had this idea. And in fact, when I wrote Go Go Gone and I ended up writing dialogues for it, that's actually when I learned how to write properly.
Okay.
You know, because I was collaborating with other writers. So I took that learning and I put that to my own ideas. And that's how Madgaon kind of happened. And honestly, like at that point, I didn't know. I wasn't commissioned to write this. Nobody wanted me to write this. I was doing it as a passion project.
Right.
So I didn't know what madness was going to unleash itself within the script and where these characters were going to go. But I just stayed true to the relationship that the friends had and the characters that they had. And then I took them on this journey. And then I just kept meeting other characters like Mendoza, Kanchan Komri, Tasha, and how they would interact with each other and what their worlds would be like and how those worlds would collide. And I really enjoyed it. I think more than anything else, those 15-20 days of when I was writing this, it was just me having a good time. These were like my imaginary friends that kind of took away from what I was doing in my life that time, and I had fun with these guys, and I'm very happy that I had a chance to kind of spend time to, you know, bring it to life so that I can show everybody what was going on in my head for a long time.
And the fun fact is, you also mentioned Go Go Gone. When we are looking at the trailer, sometimes it felt like it's a spiritual, you know, sequel to Go Go Gone. But also when you compare something with, you know, Go Go Gone has now become a cult. So when you compare it to that, it kind of there's a pressure also that's built. Even now, are you guys sort of feeling that?
I mean, now you're feeling a pressure of a different sort. The film's up for release. It's my first film as a director, so that's a different pressure. I didn't feel pressure when we were writing Go Go Gone. I didn't feel pressure when I was writing this because, like I said, these were passion projects.
Right.
We weren't writing something to compete with anything. This was just to kind of put what is in your head out there and see if it connects with the people. I'm very happy that, you know, 10 years down the line we still talk about Go Go Gone and I see so much love for the film. So of course this is in no ways are these characters or the story similar. It's just that it's again 3 friends who go to Goa.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, everybody's life.
Yeah.
I think that's what's relatable about Goa is the kind of fascination that kids or young adults or even adults have about the place. Because I think that place is a mood. It's got something for everybody. If you're happy, you'll find something to do in Goa. If you're sad, you'll find something to do in Goa. It's amazing to be sad on a beach when it's like looking deserted. It just resonates with the mood.
Yeah.
And if you're in a mood for romance, that's a great place to go. It's a great place to go with kids, family. So it's a place that appeals to everybody.
True.
Also, I think it has become a 3 friends Goa has become a subgenre in itself.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you know, so you can't. What we do when you tell a story is new characters and new situations.
Right.
Otherwise, you know, any story would be same. Boy meets a girl, fall in love, good guy versus bad guy. I think what we have in this one is absolutely mad situations and it's more of a situational comedy. This one. Yeah.
Yes, and Ritesh, my question would be to you because you mentioned situational comedy. At a time when larger than life characters are ruling over screen, they are taking over, backing a situational comedy can also, there must be a lot of thought that you have put into it, right?
I personally feel that, this you're going to get stuck if you try to make movies thinking that these are for larger than life, this is what works for theatrical. I think what become I tell people actually which you go to see that the fact is in our country, I think people love going to cinemas. It's just that we don't have as many screens, so we are actually under screen. What other form of indoor entertainment do we have besides going to a restaurant or a bar? There is nothing. No. You go to a cinema. Where do you go as a group activity?
Yeah, true.
So I think we have limited options. Going to cinema is anyways a community viewing, it's fun, and a genre like this is even better than because the emotion is best enjoyed collectively.
True.
Laughter.
Yeah.
True.
You know what I mean? So I think that's what is important, that and I want people to come make an effort to consume something like this. Watching this alone or at home is not going to give you the same high. So I think it's fun, and like these guys were saying that you're talking about three friends in situation, but you also have three friends on a trip who meet a fourth friend, which is her character, who becomes one of the boys. So I think it's fun. They meet a friend in Goa. There's a lot of incidents which happens to them. It's a kind of also realization of a certain level to each of them on certain issues which we are right now only talking of the comedy. When you watch the film, you'll realize each of them dealing with certain truths which come out in their lives. So I think nobody touches upon that, but that is the subcontext of where you get, because that's where you find a completion in the overall emotion of the film.
Yeah, and that's where I think the characters would also grow.
Yeah.
And three friends always running into trouble, and in Goa you guys have run into trouble. How do you manage to do that? Because in the trailer we see when you're in college and trying to go.
Crash happens. Yeah.
So how did you guys finally manage to go to Goa?
Somewhere karmic cycle was it was responsible for this, because three of them always trying to make a plan to go to Goa. It's always going wrong. There was something which was there.
Yeah.
Karmic.
Always chaotic.
I mean, it's much more deep. Yeah.
I think that's all Goa plans in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's always happening, right?
Yeah.
But looking at these three guys, whatever that you've seen in the trailer, it's not only Goa plan. Whatever that they've planned and decided, everything.
It's everything. I feel
If
anything
you see that
involved
party
in is chaotic.
sequence, party sequence, also everything goes wrong.
It's something is going wrong when the three of them are together.
Even like this beginning sequence in the trailer when they're in school, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now, like he kicked the lady in the face. Like they're just inherently, I think, very chaotic boys.
Man. I think going to Goa was the worst decision, but Kunal is there, so he'll take all of you forward in the best way possible for us also. Also, the kind of camaraderie that we see on screen, if it translates so beautifully, then I'm sure that what you share like off screen must be way, way better. So how did you strike that chord? How did you guys, and even Nora, you become one of the boys. So how did you manage to nail that chemistry between all of you?
I think we all collectively decided that let's not compete with each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really,
That's it.
ये कब हो गया?
No, we had a meeting before
कब
you
हुआ
joined.
था?
We had a meeting.
You joined later. You met them in Goa, so I think that happened before the Goa trip was had materialized.
No, but honestly, I mean, thankfully there was no insecurity,
Yeah.
amongst us. There was no, sense of competition, any such thing. Honestly, there was a little mutual admiration for each other.
Yeah.
We've thankfully liked each other's work and everything. And temperaments also, we are not someone who's like, tried to make a situation too big or too small.
Right.
We're just very, thankfully, easy, easy breezy people.
And this
So
is
it
not
just
like
happened.
specific to the film.
Yeah.
Generally, each one of us, including Kunal, like everyone's like that. We're just chill. We love what we do. We're just very grateful to work, so, and we're funny people.
Of course, and that translates very well on screen. I mean, obviously you need to have that funny bone to bring it.
Also great acting skills. Don't forget that.
Of course.
Ever. Yeah.
But that's what you guys have made it. Like, it looks so natural. It's like you're born with it, man.
That's how humble he is.
But also, like you said, comedy is one of the most difficult genres also to nail, to get the timing right, to deliver your dialogues when somebody is doing something, batshit crazy.
Yeah.
How did you manage to, nail this genre?
So I think a lot of credit goes to the writing itself, because the writing was done in such a way where everything was designed beat by beat. In comedy, as we all keep saying, that it's a game of timing.
Yeah.
The timing is microsecond. One extra bit here can ruin it. One extra bit there can kill it.
Yeah.
So that particular thing, I guess most of the job is done by the writing itself. So we just had to be there and create the characters. Having said that, comedy is also a little difficult task when it comes to one-upmanship. And it's not that with ego that you want to do that, but because of that particular situation, when you are actually having fun, you're getting those punches delivered well,
Right.
you feel that it is hitting the correct chord,
Yeah.
you tend to go one step further. That's when you need to stop.
Okay.
So I guess those things just come with a lot of experience that everybody has worked on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Right.
That helps.
It comes with a lot of discipline.
Lot of
yes.
discipline.
I mean, it's
As
like
actors,
writing
as
music.
individual.
Yeah.
You have to hit each note accordingly. It's a symphony, he's writing. So you have to
Right.
play it accordingly. And then only you can enjoy the whole, feel of it.
Also, Divyenndu, you had started with something that was sort of like that had comic timing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then all of you, you guys did phenomenally well on OTT. And barring Nora, of course, but you are also there. You started, I remember you seeing in Manohari, and then you are here in Crack in Madgaon Express, but we'll come to that later. How we saw you on OTT is very different, and then suddenly on big screen we are seeing you in this avatar. I'm really happy about this. And how was it like getting into the skin of this character, of these three friends? Avinash,
Avinash,
you have been really quiet, yeah.
I'm the silence in the symphony, you see. Yeah, thanks. I think, like Pratik said, it's the script which really did the trick for us. It made it so easy. Also, the narration that Kunal gave, he actually performed the whole script for us. And there is a tendency, because he's such a wonderful actor himself,
Right.
you tend to believe that हो सकता है कि यार performance में इसने निकाल दिया, script में शायद इतना दम ना हो, and then you end up reading it and you are still laughing. And that's when you realize that if I can laugh at something that's written, of course, if I have a bit of talent, it's only going to add to the script.
Right.
And I think with these guys around, it became much more easier for me to just stand there, listen to them, and deliver my responses. I keep saying this. It's like ये चौके छक्के मार रहे हैं तो मैं partnership बना रहा हूँ. That's how I felt during the film.
Wow.
And I hope everyone who sees the film enjoys it like we did while we shot for it.
In fact, just to add to that point, that a lot of credit goes to Ritesh and Kunal, because we all have done something or the other on OTT. And absolutely, like, he's never done anything in comedy genre,
Right.
Avinash. He's been seen, in
The serials
very
and-
serious avatars, almost a lot of things that he's done recently. Before this, I had done Scam.
Yeah.
And my entire look, feel, characterization, everything was different, and that was the first time that a lot of people have seen me.
Yeah.
Divyenndu had done something in comedy,
Yeah.
but to visualize all three of us in this script,
Yeah.
in this genre, in these characters, so I guess all the credits to them that they actually visualized us and they did it.
Right. And also, Kunal, did the actor in you ever meddle with the director and the writer in you when you were shooting the film?
No, definitely not that. Once I
Kunal,
decided to
come
be a
on,
director,
man.
sorry.
I'm
Come
sure
on.
during the
Come
writing
on.
you must have felt that this dialogue, if said this way, will land.
Because
That's
But
But
then I
everybody-
made sure that
experience.
I figured out a way to get it exactly there.
because everyone has been
myself.
talking about the narration, so you have narrated it that way, right?
Yeah. See,
no,
the
see,
good
of course,
thing about sorry,
हाँ,
मैं जल्दी से बोल देता हूँ. कुनालिस के वो कभी आपको करके नहीं बताएगा कि ऐसे करना है, लेकिन आपको specifically बताएगा ऐसे ही करना है. So it's a fine line. It's a very fine line. Yeah.
Okay.
No, so in the narration, that was, I told everybody, I said, this is my version of these characters, this is how I see them. Also, what happens is, this is not a solo-led, story.
Yeah.
There are lots of characters that come in. And with comedy, I feel that's also very important to know that who's operating at what level. and it's very important to keep it there. And I think as an actor, what's important in a comedy is to know that you have to be confident enough to be unabashed, but you have to also be smart enough to know when to stop being
Right.
that. Because often in a scene it's like theatre sometimes, the crew that's standing there, that they find it really funny, so they might laugh, and you might see it and you might like, aur karta hu. But that aur karta hu might actually spoil that scene.
Yeah.
So it was just for that at times I just had to guide them, saying that, you pitch it a little low, you pitch it a little high, and you keep it moderate, so that this scene works. And that kind of had played up in my head so many times, because that's how I write dialogue. Whether I'm in the scene or not, if I'm writing dialogue for any scene, I have to pretend to be these guys and act it out in my head, or physically sometimes. Like if he's pushed him, what is he going to react like? Should there be a prop here that he can use? So because it was like that in my head, that's why when I narrated it, I said, this is my version of it. Now all of you all have to do it, so you all now adapt and do what you got to
And
do.
it's not gaggy, thankfully, our film. It's a one continuous flow of comedy. It's a very screenplay based comedy.
Okay.
So it's not really कि मैं कुछ ऐसे ज़्यादा कर सकता हूँ एक जोक के ऊपर दूसरा जोक मार सकता हूँ. It's actually very screenplay based.
It's very organically that it progresses. All right. And also, Nora, like I was mentioning, we have seen you in, like, I remember you very prominently in that song in Bahubali's Manohari. And now here you are, like 2 releases, one in February, one in March. How does it all feel now?
Oh, it feels so good. Sometimes I feel like, oh my God, is it really happening? But then I worked so hard to reach this point, and this is just the beginning. I have so many more, dreams to fulfill.
Of course.
And but just to be able to work with a production house like Excel has always been one of my dreams since I stepped foot into the industry, and it has a certain credibility about it.
True.
So I feel so good that I'm a part of this. Really grateful, very blessed. I just hope that people watch the film. We really need the audience support, especially films like these films. And but yeah, I mean, I'm here and I'm killing it and hoping that I do more work in the future.
Of course, you have been doing a great work. And finally, because we have a time constraint, finally before we go, we see so much being translated on screen, but we don't really get to know what has happened behind it. I would really like to know a trivia about this film that, you can share before release maybe.
There's one interesting thing that happened during the making of this film, which kind of altered the way we had to maneuver certain scenes and block it differently, is our friend Pratik Gandhi, after shooting for us for 3 days, his shoulder came out of your socket.
Oh, I forgot
Tore
that
a
happened.
ligament, and
That's
it was extremely painful for him and
Not
extremely
during
painful
shoot.
for me, because I didn't know what to do now, right? And 3 days have happened, and this thought of saying that I can't change him. What do I do now? What do I do? But to do credit to him, like he showed up on that day, because the surgery couldn't happen because we were in the middle of the schedule. We were shooting on this platform. We had paid for this location. It was supposed to happen the next day. We were there for 2 days. He needed to go for surgery because that was the only way it would heal. So he was there on set dealing with that pain, but between action and cut, you can't tell that he's going through that. So when I saw him do that, I was like, I have to weave this in somehow. So they were like, we kind of played it in a way. That's why if you see in a lot of places in the trailer, he's running with the hand in his hand.
Yeah.
That's because his shoulder was like in a lot of pain. So I weaved it into the film that when he kind of has this one accident, he shouts out and says, "Oh, my shoulder! What the hell has happened?"
Is it when he's jumping, when he's
from the
does
window?
it Karambo and he
Before he
jumps?
comes out of the bed.
Wow. Thank you so much for joining with India Today. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
And I'm really looking forward to this movie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.